we were able to summarize yesterday and had a record of the electric field intensity. And this electric field intensity, we looked at it for the both the discrete distribution of charge and the continuous distribution of charge. And the discrete, we had a bunch of charges which were interacting. The terms and conditions apply in all my classes, Shirat and company. The terms and conditions apply. No two negative charges get near each other, unless if you are continuous distribution of charge. But as you can see, you are discrete. So you get to know some guys and balance it out. Huh? The what? Now that you are the noisy when you come and sit in between Kauma and Kadu, you go sit in between Maria and Shirat. Then she comes here. Answer the prayer. So come here. You come this one here. You come in front because you. No, I'm not saying I'm not bothered about your comfort. I'm not bothered about your comfort. Me, I'm bothered about my principles. Hello. You sit in between the thread and the single. You'll get used with time. Can I extend this by me? Pardon? Who? Don't disturb my mind. You want to disturb my mind? You sit here. Don't you want to be near me and get first-hand information and feel that? And then, for that reason, from today, the 20th of August, up to the whatever November it is, you'll be sitting here if we are here. Who was praying? Who was praying that eventually the prayers were answered? So I just want you to know my happiness in life is knowing what people expect of me or what they need to get from me. That's why I'm a happy person. When I meet a policeman, I know how they will treat me, so I know how to respond. When I meet an old person, I know what will make them happy. When I meet you with your argumentative kind, I know how to treat you. So that's how I manage my stuff. So we had a hard G, okay, Q naught, and it was being within the vicinity of other charges Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, and we ended up having the blue force being the same as the summation from n equal to 1 up, because these were constituted from the QI, and so we had I equal to 1 up to n, and then we had the QI, Q naught, over the 4 pi, Ri, okay, you'll have the epsilon before anywhere. Then Ri squared, Ri, so this is Ri naught rho. And then from the definition of the electric field density being the same as the force per unit charge, at a point where we are looking for electric field density, then we say that the electric field density at example, this point P, then that EP would be the same as the this force per unit discharge, which has been affected by these other charges, QI. And then it will be 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught summation I equal to 1 up to n, and then we will have the QIs over the R I naught square, R I naught rho. And this was for countable charges, the discrete charges, the charges that you can count, and for a range of from, assuming we had I equal to 1, 2, up to n of them. Then for the continuous distribution of charge, there are charges distributed either along the line and with the charge density lambda coulomb per meter, or you can have distributed on a surface with the surface charge density sigma coulomb per meter squared, is per unit area, or along the volume, and we have the volume charge density coulomb per meter cubed. So we got a line where we have an element of this line, L, being responsible for causing an electric field at a point P, and for the position vector R, then we have this point P, X, Y, Z, and this one being the unit direction vector R roof. And for a particular surface with an elemental surface taken out as BS at a particular point P, R, with this being the unit direction vector, this being X, Y, Z in space, then we will be able to get the electric field density. And for a particular volume, we would have an elemental volume, the tau, and this elemental volume will constitute an elemental charge, which elemental charge will cause an electric field density at a point R from the element, and this will also be able to give us our electric field density at this point P being the same as the integral R roof over R squared. This will be rho d tau. Then here we'll be having, and this will be the electric field density at this point P being the same as the integral. This was integral over the volume tau. If you can say that tau, or just write it as volume. Or if you're not being particular, or double integral for the two currents x, y for the area, R roof over R squared, sigma ds. And then here we will be having the electric field density being at a point P, this point P here being the same as the integral over the line. This is the surface, or you could have just said S. This is the line L. And then it will be R roof over R squared, and then you'll be having lambda here. So we now know the electric field density and how we can obtain it, how we can generate it. The issue is to end up having the understanding of the electric field vector, the magnetic field vector. Here then we have the electric displacement vector. So then we got the, here we will be having the magnetic field density. These are called field vectors. So whenever you meet a word, field vectors, you know it's about the E, the B, the H, and the B. The essence is that the moment we know how to generate these and these, then we will be able to come up with the electromagnetic wave. And then we can do the communication seamlessly. The purpose of doing this electrostatics is to understand how this E can be generated, how it can be enhanced, how it is affected by its surroundings. For example, when we talk of the electric field, we talk of the permittivity. When we talk of the magnetic field, we talk of how permeable it is in media. And so that's the basis why we are trying to struggle around doing all this stuff. So yesterday we parted when we had finished this part, and we were headed to look at the works of Gauss. And that's the Gauss's electric flux theory, which we just call Gauss's law, if we want. And the key word on this Gauss's electric flux theory, the key word is flux. And I want you to get it from today that the moment you see this word flux, your head should click with an area, something to do with per unit area. So if it is electric flux, then you know it's electric flux field lines pointing in a given unit area. If it is magnetic flux, so it's about the magnetic field lines which are pointing on a unit area. So the moment you hear a word flux, area must be around. And then whatever is being talked about is what is being directed to that area. So the Gauss's law of electrostatics. Electro for charges, static for station or rest. So the electric flux through a surface S, is given by the integral E dot S equaling to the amount of charge, the total charge that is being enclosed by this area. So if I got an area and then I make it an isolated charge, I make a charge be inside that area, this charge which is producing these fields, we can understand how these electric field lines interact with the or relate to this surface that is bounded by knowing the total charge that is being inside there, and then how permittive the material around it, the medium around it affects it. So this would be the same as the total charge over the permittivity of free space if we are in free space, or we can write it beautifully as 1 over epsilon naught summation of the charges that are inside there, if it is discrete, and then we have these Qi, the amount of charges that are in it. And this is where the Qi, in this sense, is the total free charge. The total free charge enclosed by surface S. Enclosed by surface S. This is any surface, like here this is the surface S. This whole line is the length L. This whole volume is volume tau. So the wire, a given wire would be our line of charge if we sprinkle the charge all over this wire. So this is really a charge distribution. If I got a rough piece of paper and I sprinkle charge, we'll charge it up. Doesn't matter that I have to have charge sprinkled in and around, but if I charge it up, then I'll be having a surface of charge. And if I had like my paper bag here, and I am able to isolate charges in here. So this is our volume here, and then when we look at the number of the charges we have in this volume, then we talk of the volume charge, density, rho, and then this one is the total volume of this volume that is housed in the charges. Okay, so then we have the, we shall get the, we shall write this one in a more beautiful way to make sure that it encompasses whatever we are trying to put in writing. And this will be that, since you are all mathematics, anyone who is doing physics, chemistry, or geology, that you don't know any mathematics. So the, we shall write this one as, in a nicer way. I had forgotten this. This should be enclosed surface S. So this would be the same as integral over the enclosed surface S, E dot ds would be the same as this total charge. When you sum all these charges from I equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, 1,000, up to n of them, and then you shall get the total charge. So it will be the enclosed charge over the epsilon naught. And this is the Gauss's law of electrostatics, where Q enclosed is the total charge, enclosed within the surface S, this one here, and this result is called, Gauss's law, but we are integrating. So we shall call this result here as Gauss's law in integral form. So the integral form is the integral form of Gauss's law. There are a lot of essays on Gauss, so we say Gauss and just put an apostrophe and say law. The key word here is the integral form, because there is an integral. So if I say, state the integral form of Gauss's law, then I see you using the differential form. So the differential form has the differentiation B, which is hidden within the gradient operator, or the del operator symbol, has the carried by carry xi plus carried by carry y j plus the carried by carry z k. So the on the other hand, the differential form, of Gauss's law is the divergence of B equals to rho naught. This is only true if the field lines going in all directions are the same. And that only takes place when there is symmetry. So symmetry is very crucial. Symmetry is very crucial. Symmetry is very crucial in the applications of this is Gauss. We're talking of a surface. And this is where the idea of Gaussian surface came from. The spherical surface, the spherical, fictitious, I don't know whether this is a spelling, fictitious surface is named after Gauss, is named after Gauss, and is called a Gaussian surface. I was taught this damn thing, and it was like as if a Gaussian surface is something imported from heaven and brought on earth for making that surface. This is just Gauss's surface, which is spherical, that helps us to apply the Gauss's law easily. So we got the two expressions, the differential form and the integral form. From all these interactions. So we look at the cases of these surfaces, and we start with the case of since we've talked about the symmetry. So we start with the case of spherical symmetry. Case of spherical symmetry. And so we choose for a Gaussian surface, we choose for a Gaussian surface a sphere concentric with a charge distribution. Then we can take an example. So when we are looking at this symmetry here, this is why I brought this down thing. If this was my charge distribution, a bunch of charges in here, and they are producing the electric field lines to everywhere. In the first instance, before maybe I go, this big, when you got a point charge, and for a case of a positive charge, we say that positive charges give out the electric field lines. I want to go off topic a bit, because I'm going to give an example and I want to be off topic. Especially ladies. Ladies, will you answer this question for me? Yes. The ladies mind about their looks before they get out of the house. True or false? And when we meet them, we the guys, we are supposed to mind about their intellect. For them, they mind about their looks before leaving the house.
For us, we are supposed to mind about the intellect. How does that work? Shakir, how does that work? You spend about 2 days in a salon to make your hair. And then when I meet you, I'm supposed to listen to you, hear how you are intelligent, how you have content, and why? You spent 2 days working on yourself to look better, and then for me, you want me to hear how sounding you are, how sounding you are. How does that work? Teach me. I'm confused about that.
So you approach me because of what you see.
Yes. Yes, because I saw your hair, which you spent 2 days working up, and then I got attracted.
Like the first impression is how I look.
But why would I care about your intellect? Which you didn't work on so hard. You didn't work on your intellect. Me, I'm attracted by what you worked on. No, I'm just talking general. I don't want you to think I'm not talking about a particular you here, but I'm annoyed when I'm online and then the women are complaining. They are judging us by our photos. When you put their photo, then they start saying you are just displaying yash or whatever. So, how will I care about your knowledge if what you care about is how you look like? Before she gets out of the house, she has to make sure that everything is okay. And you don't see her reciting like a poem of what she will say on the way. It is about the look. So why should I care about your intellect? No, I'm talking as a man.
Because they don't know that where they are going, men don't have X-rays to see.
So then accept that, then they should accept that that's what matters, and they don't complain about your intellect. If you want your intellect, then work on your intellect. So that when I meet you in a workshop and you are presenting and you are making things go thorough, then I'm like, wow, this lady is so fantastic. But whether you meet them before another session goes on, then they are putting in. So when they come, I don't even care what you say. These days, since December 2023, I've not written anything on X, on Twitter. My Facebook, when they closed it, I refused to write anything there. It's on YouTube where I am active because many Ugandans are not, so they don't know how it works, and because I have to put there our videos. But this thing has been itching me. You meet somebody, how will I care about your intellect? When what you worked on so hard is how you look. Samantha, why should I care about somebody's intellect when all the energy they were doing is the nice dress, the tight it is, then the hair, and then they want me to first listen to them and then judge them by their academic or whatever it is. Here I told you the girls we were with us at undergraduate, by the time of third year, they all had natural hair. They all had natural hair, and we did care. We did care. We just cared about choosing numbers. The girls, the ladies have told, I'm trying to tell them in the first year. I've tried to tell them in the first year that what matters here is how you chop my numbers. That's what matters. How you chop my numbers, and that's it. Then I normally make a joke that when you write the last exam, you can go in a saloon and spend there 3 days. They work on you perfectly, and then you now show that you were good. Otherwise, I don't know how you make it. You meet this guy and say, you look nice. Then you're like, thank you. Then another one say, hi. You're like, hello. How do you spend a day? And another, can I talk to you? And you're like, I'm hurry, but you hurry. How do you manage that? And then you have to read my electromagnetism and you chop Maxwell's equation. So you are in the library trying to remember the divergence of D equal to rho, and then some guy passes and says, hello, that is the light. And you are like, hello. Wow. So you have to choose. And this is not about you alone. I have had a chance to meet Chinese, meet Ghanaians, Nigerians. They are the same. And even when you are watching movies, it is the same, whether you go to Latin America or wherever. So I think I will make a presentation, just to make sure that I make my argument. If you want me to think about your knowledge, then be knowledgeable. Mind about intellectualism, about your intellect. When I meet you, you should be arguing issues. Not now always trying to make your hair be positioned nicely. We are talking of sense, you are just, you are trying to make sure that you look good. Okay, so it was by the way. I just wanted to. You are the only audience now where I can vent. I no longer vent online. I just left online things for people to vent because these days I'm too annoyed that I can, let's say, abuse the speaker and then I may end up in jail. So I said I don't want to be online anymore. Let me suffer with my anger. So, but for you, when I tell you anything, you don't feel bad, isn't it? Now, not me. You are used to it. So this whole thing came from the idea of a positive charge being the male guy who gives out gifts. That's how it came by my mind. Up to now, the other day I watched women and then they were asking them, I think it is on NBS, that why do you refuse to tell your husbands when you have some small business? And some women were like, my money is my money. And his money is our money. If I tell him that I got money, he may decide to refuse to pay fees, he may get a second wife. What kind of nonsense is that? My money is our money, your money is your ours. Imagine. It means there is something which doesn't work out. It's quiet. Government is not really. It doesn't make sense. Man's money is our money. My money is my money. And then our children is our children. When it comes to fees, they told me of a lady who used to tell the headmaster to harass the husband and even to chase away the kids. When she has actually paid already. She would pay fees but tell the headmaster to harass the man. Fees, you haven't paid. But they paid already fees. The kids are at school but the man is on pressure.
So you mean ladies are
They know themselves that inside, deep in their hearts, they know the truth. I don't want to choose any. Inside themselves, they know the truth. But you should be scientific, since I've taught scientific people. Just spoil your mind, you know. Because you are going because for you, if you get a government job, you'll be getting 4 million. Come home, spoil the guy. Tell him today I am going to pay all the bills around. Okay, let's get to this So we say that a positive charge is a male giving out gifts. Now, under normal circumstances, like we said in electricity and magnetism, if we are drawing these field lines, we should be drawing arrows. And these arrows, we keep making them shortening until where we cannot feel any field. But this is hectic. I cannot keep on doing this and then making it reduce until when it disappears like that. I can only do this one and just put my continuous lines and then put an arrow just to show where they are going, which is getting out for a positive charge. So we have a positive charge here, and so what we are talking about as Gauss's law, and for this case of spherical charge distribution, we have this charge distribution here. For now, this is the point charge, but if we had a bunch of charges together here forming this charge here, they are producing field lines in all directions. So we're gonna look for the Gaussian surface, or try to concoct it. Just wanted to make sure if I could make it. So this illusion, the illusion of seeing this now being like a sphere, this whole thing, that's our Gaussian surface. So this is constituting our Gaussian surface, and then it is going to encompass all these field lines that are getting out of it. And as we said, they are moving here. This is 2D. They are just this side, but actually the one is coming this way, that way, so they are all over. And if they are all over, then we can construct a Gaussian surface spherical to this distribution of charge. And then this Gaussian surface S can be able to help us if we can use the E dot S and integrate it. This should be equal to the total charge that is enclosed here, and then divided by the permittivity of the medium in which this charge distribution is residing. And then it will be, for now we are having it in free space, so we shall be having it as over epsilon. So to find the electric field intensity, at points outside and inside a uniform spherical distribution of charge. Having a charge density rho naught, and radius R. The question, the example text is not so, phrased in terms of a question, but we are to find the electric field intensity at a point outside and inside, a uniform spherical distribution of charge, having a charge density of rho naught and the radius capital R. So for the benefit of those who were not there in the course outline, I would like to repeat the idea of spherical coordinates. This is just for purposes of explanation. So we got a sphere, and this sphere here has an equatorial part where we are
say the y, doesn't matter. And then this one will be the x, and this is the minus z. And so I would love to enlighten you about the coordinates, the spherical coordinates. These spherical coordinates, I've already said, if this is the sphere, just take this one as a frame. This one is just a frame. So this one here is the equatorial, this one here is the equatorial part I have drawn, this plane here. I'm using equatorial because the Earth is an approximate sphere.
Yes.
So at the equator, if you sliced a tomato or an orange in half, this is the equatorial bit. And this is our zenith here, and then any of these, and then we have the other one. They are horizontal, they are not, I have drawn this one facing down, but actually it is along this part here. So if this is the z and this is the y, the x is around here. But if you are drawing in 3 dimensions, you try to make sure that you tilt it to make sure that it is visible. If I drew it here like this, you won't see it. That means if I do it like this, you don't see nothing here, you just see a line. But now we have drawn it like this so that this one comes this way and the other one will be along this way. And then the z will be there. So if it grew from being a small sphere, like a balloon, and you start pumping it and it starts enlarging, that means that you will be able to increase the radius of this sphere as the balloon bulges. And then as that happens, also you have this angle here, theta, which also keeps on increasing. If you have the balloon and when it is very small, you put a dot here. That's supposed to be where the line from the center meets the surface. When you start, putting pressure in this balloon, this one which was like around here at the top, it will start going this way. And that angle that is subtended by the radius r to the zenith here z is the angle theta. And if you took a slice, if you slice a longitudinal piece here, this plane here, this vertical plane, this one here. So this is our equatorial plane, this is our vertical plane here. This vertical plane here would be able to chop through an angle. This angle it is chopping through here. As this plane here goes around, the angles it makes here is the phi. So in spherical coordinates, the coordinates are the radius r, the angle here, the zenith angle theta, and the azimuth. So this is the zenith angle, the radius, and this one is the azimuth. And this is the azimuth angle phi. So this is how the angles, the coordinates in the spherical coordinates come about. You can relate them to the radius and the z and the y, whereby the z here is r cos theta, the y here is r sin theta, and the x here is I don't know. Is it with the phi, is it r cos phi? It's up to you, check, I don't want to go into that. So you now know how they come about, that's one. Because we're going to be dealing with such a distribution with these coordinates, then we need to know how R varies. R varies when you have a tiny little balloon and then it goes
goes on until when your balloon bursts or becomes so big and fills up this whole world. Then you can only have this zenith here. This angle can be subtended from here up to here. When you go beyond here, this is a self-charge distribution. Whatever was being experienced here is similar to what is experienced this side. So you can't repeat what you have already experienced. So we move from 0 to theta, and then we can only go up to the 180 here, up to this plane here. And then on the other side, you can, you have this chance of going all the way and finish the whole circle. And that is the from 0 up to 2. The rest is algebraic gymnastics. So that's why I was carrying this stuff. You saw me, those of you who are seeing me for the first time carrying the whole stuff. And for purposes of just making sure that you get the, this is the equatorial plane here, this is the zenith, and I'm going to make this dance around for you. And, but I did this when we did moon viewing, isn't it? Yesterday the moon was full and was beautiful, so I felt like I wish I had called guys to come and do a repeat of the moon viewing today. I'm not there just to do things for... You see, what I learned in my life is that if you want to be important, first do things for free. People will just be looking at you, he has time to waste. Then afterwards, disappear. They start begging. You used to do, you say, I used to do it, but I'm no longer. So they start begging you, please help us. Because they know your expertise. But if you become mean and no one knows what you are capable of, you just see you around, walking around, but they don't know your importance. That's the idea of volunteering. When you volunteer, people know what you are able to do. And those who got a job to give you, and those who, you know, find your skill nice, they brochure your skill. So don't start by wanting to be to be paid straight away. First show people that you can do stuff. If a school gives me a chance to enter their class, and I have the job, students will say, we want that guy. If you make a mistake and you are a teacher and you allow me in your class, your job is gone. Students are your employers. So this one spins better, and if you look closely, you can see that the sphere comes out. This whole stuff here looks like it is a whole sphere. Is that illusional stuff? And you did this stuff in classical mechanics too, under the omega, the angular momentum. Why? That's why Einstein said that just keep cycling. Keep cycling. The bicycle will not fall down because of the angular momentum. As long as you are cycling, everything is okay. So that's how God did the spin and threw us to space. And we have been spinning since. I want to retire early and do magic, do scientific magic. Go to the constitutional square, is it called constitutional square or city square? And then I put my screen there, and then I do this magic. After doing magic, I want to do the one of the levitation. I had promised, is it you or another group?
Another group.
Since you know, what did I promise them? Winning. What did I promise them? Because you seem to be very knowledgeable about that. I had promised one group that I was going to make for them a Faraday cage. And I don't think I will. I chose to teach you this course because this may be my last time of teaching it. I want to concentrate on electronics and instrumentation and electronics. I chose to teach you because I taught you Electromagnetism and your last group I taught it, so I wanted to make sure that you get the full dose. I have not taught the first years, so maybe they may meet me in electronics. So that's why I want you to make sure you milk me for this course, so that you go when you have the full dose. And so I promised them, then COVID came. But I had even already gone to technology and talked to the guy who fabricates stuff. I wanted to make a Faraday cage. A Faraday cage is a cage whereby when you are inside there are no field lines that can enter. Then now I think I will also buy, I will make the levitation, the thing for levitation. You have seen magicians who walk on water. So they put one sheet in paper of metal in the water, and then they walk on water. So you just increase the current and you levitate higher. They decrease the current, you lower down. So you can be like Jesus and walk on water.
It's called levitation.
Levitation. If you want to Google. You have never heard of this?
Yes.
What do you mean by yes? You are saying, how do you say ignorance? How do you pronounce ignorance with enthusiasm? You have never heard of this? Yes! The trains, the electric trains use levitation. So they are magnetic, the electricity makes them magnetic. And because they are trying to oppose each other, then they speed up. And then that speeding makes them be called bullet trains. Not your train here. I don't know who cast you here. What do you have in Uganda?
Chapati makers.
Even rubbish kills people. Rubbish. Is there anyone here who is related to government officials? I want to ask you so that you tell your relative. Where is it? Are you the son of Moise? You don't want to be associated with the Okay, I think that is enough break. So I use the Ntungo, Nyumu, Inuni. Where is DJ? What was it? Mukwase? How did they call it in Tulituka? How is Inuni called in Lusoga? Mukwase. I remember. I still remember the terminology. Inuni, Mukwase, Ntungo. We don't have that stuff. We don't eat people's things which they try to put together. We don't do that. We eat potatoes and we are okay. And I remember when I told you when those women are doing, if you are making that thing and I think they do it with hot sugar or something, they must be swearing and they're like, like how that secondary school cook who used to mingle your posho would do like this. I think even when this comes, he just cooks. It was too sweet. No, it dies. It gets heated up, so there's no problem. There's no problem in that. So, if we got the Inuni, and then we would like to find out, we start with the outside.
we would like to find out the, so if this was for the outside case, and this was the, you see how perfect I am? The what? It is not I'm not bragging about the perfectness of being circular, but making sure that I meet the other line without a hassle. I just did like, and the two met each other, no, I'm not bothered. But the oval, whatever, I'm not, I can't say that. So these we have the sim here to constitute our charges. And so we have the, I will shade it like this here, but I would have dotted them up, but I can't do the dot in here. I used to draw flowers in art pieces. I used to draw flowers using dots. So like you draw that, and then when you have done this, then you keep dotting for the shaded parts. It was hectic, but I can't do the dot in here. So we have to draw a surface that mimics our distribution. So just outside the surface, we shall put a spherical surface that encloses our charge distribution. And that is our ocean surface. I could have drawn it here, but just for purposes of showing that it is symmetrical and it is distinct, I will draw it around here. So this is the center of our surface. It is already, distribution. It is of radius r here. It is of charge density. It is rho naught. That is the charge density. We have just drawn the Gaussian surface S. This is Gaussian surface. And then of radius small r. We are just repeating what we did in Electromagnetism, just to make sure you wake up. So because of spherical symmetry, because of spherical symmetry, the electric field density is a constant. The electric field density experienced is a constant at all points. At all points on the surface, on the Gaussian surface S, and is directed radially outwards, and is directed along the radius of this spherical surface, and is directed radially outwards. So we have all these electric field lines coming out of the charge distribution, and then we encompass them, we enclose them with the Gaussian surface, and they are all perpendicular to the Gaussian surface, so we can get the electric flux emerging out of these due to the electric field lines emerging out of this surface, and then we apply Gauss's electric flux theory, or Gauss's law of electrostatics. And so we shall say that by Gauss's law, we have these electric field lines which are getting out. If we integrate them, the integral E dot ds will
be the same as, we have the charge density as being rho naught, so we shall say that this will be 1 over epsilon naught, and then the total charge enclosed would be the integral of the rho naught d tau. And this, of course, is enclosed within this Gaussian surface. So here is what to note. What to note is that this enclosed, this surface here is the Gaussian surface. So this would be the same as E, magnitude E, and then times the magnitude ds, the cosine of the angle between them. Okay? So on this at a particular point on this surface here, if we get an elemental surface ds, remember, this ds here is the same as the unit direction vector normal to that ds. So if this was our ds here, then the normal to this surface here, n roof, multiplied by this surface ds is what would give us the vector ds. Okay? So the vector ds is on the surface here, getting a normal to the surface. The electric field intensity from the center of the from the charge distribution, we will say that is directed. This electric field intensity E is directed radially outward, meaning that it is also normal to the surface. The ds is normal to the surface. The E is normal to the surface. The dot product, we can now define the dot product as E ds. Then we have the integral, and then we have the cosine of the angle between them, equaling to 1 over epsilon naught integral over the volume tau rho naught d tau. This d tau is just the whole volume. You may not bother putting it on if you don't want for now. So once you do this definition here, the cosine of 0 is 1. So we are looking for electric field intensity. And then we have the integral of the whole surface area. ds will be the surface area of the Gaussian surface. And then this would be the same as the 1 over epsilon naught integral rho naught tau. So it is not just saying let's isolate or factorize E out and then remain with the ds. No. We are following the definition of the dot product as the product of the magnitudes times the angle between the cosine of the angle between them. So this would be E in the total surface area of the sphere of small radius. I mean of radius small r. And what is the surface area of a sphere of radius small r? 4 pi r squared, and this will be the same as the rho naught of epsilon naught. And then what is the volume? This is the volume related to the charge distribution. So what is the volume of a sphere of a spherical charge distribution of radius capital R? What would be that? 4/3 pi r cubed. I don't know. I'm trying to avoid putting off this, but I think we already said whatever we want. The left-hand side is all about the Gaussian surface. That's how the small r came in because of this s. The right hand side is concerning the charge that is causing us have the electric field energy. So then we got the integral of the rho naught, of the tau. The tau, the volume, giving out the total volume, that the total volume would be the 4/3 part r cubed. R being capital R. So, like I normally say, the rest is algebraic gymnastics. The 4 pi's go. There's nothing else that can go. So we shall have the electric field density will be equal to the rho over 3 epsilon naught. And then we have the r cubed over r squared. And we can realize that electric field density is also along the radius of the spherical charge distribution, because it is radially outwards, perpendicular to the Gaussian surface. So if we want to, because we know at this level we are interested in being detailed, and that means we must make sure that we give the magnitude and the direction. So this would be the same as rho naught over 3 epsilon naught, and then r cubed over r squared, and it is radially outwards. And we normally say that this is when we are having the Gaussian surface being bigger than the distribution of charge. So that was case of outside. Yes.
That point there where we have the electric field outside and have the integral with the surface.
Yeah.
I think that one is supposed to be the global because the surface part of the circle.
The circle is for the whole surface. So you want me to continue be having this? Okay. If you want, you also add this one here around all that surface, and then we go on. So I'm going to keep this one here. E will be equal to the first scenario we've gotten is rho naught over 3 epsilon naught r cubed over r squared for when we are outside the Gaussian surface. Case 2. Case 2, if these Kasokoso women have very stupid children who don't know the value of the business their mothers are doing, and instead, when they get the new, for them they chew a little bit of it. So, if we take the Gaussian surface on the inside, so this now B, I don't know whether it is B or 2 inside. These kids chew a little bit, they chew a little bit of the, and when they chew a little bit, it's okay to blow it and keep it on the inside, but when I rub it, I become more comfortable. If I keep it this way, we shall figure out. But this actually is that because we got this, and then the kids have chewed off after taking the Gaussian surface inside. It's like how these women could have kids who are smart. They know how to steal and cover up their footprints. Like they chew nicely, remove a layer and make sure it is smooth and round again. So they chew like 2 millimeters on each of them. So if there are like 100 of them, you are satisfied. You are even belching. You go around belching because you have removed this part here. So this part has been chewed by these kids of these women who make the uncles. And so the rationale is that on the right hand side of this equation of the Gauss's law, we no longer have that component which the children chewed, contributing to the charge. I mean the electric field density. So previously this was capital R up to here. And now we took the Gaussian surface on the inside here. But this one is empty. So this one is useless. We no longer have any usefulness of this. So we are remaining with the small r being the dominant bit, because that's the only thing that can contribute. So this is capital R. This is our Gaussian surface here. This is S, Gaussian surface. We still have this being rho naught, charge density, and then we shall now say that by Gauss's law, the integral E dot ds for this being a Gaussian surface S this would be the same as the 1 over epsilon naught integral over the volume tau rho naught tau. And of course, like I've already tried to demonstrate here, there is no longer the capital R. The kids have chewed off the parts. And whatever is contributing to the charge, whatever is contributing to the Gaussian surface is small r. And also whatever is contributing to the charge is the small r, because the other part was chewed off. So this will, I will not do the double work of, so this would imply that E integral ds would be the same as 1 over epsilon naught integral over the tau. So this can be put as rho naught, and then we have d tau. So this is E nu, the surface area of the Gaussian surface, which is this Gaussian surface here. So we still have the 4 pi, and this should be equal to rho naught over epsilon naught, and then the total volume of the charge or the surviving charge distribution is already as small r. So then we shall have this one as 4/3 pi small r cubed. And now I can comfortably rub off this one, since you have understood how it is related. So in this case of the inside, that's why we have small r and small r, because the rest of the part was chewed by those kids. And so 2 of them will go and remain with 1, the pi will go, the 4 will go, and then we have the E is equal to rho naught over 3 epsilon naught. And
then we shall have the R. And therefore, we have the electric field intensity in its definitive form being radial to the surface, and then it should be R above. And so here we have rho naught over 3 epsilon naught R. This is when we are inside the distribution, or when the Gaussian surface radius is less than that of the charge distribution. So here you could have added some small sentence that for points inside the spherical charge distribution, or this one here, for points inside the charge distribution, that is when R is less than the when the Gaussian surface radius is less than that of the charge distribution, then we get that. So this is the vector comes in because we know where the electric field intensity is acting. It is acting radial outwards along the radius. So we have the R roof being the unit direction vector along the radius. And then this is in summary. In summary, we can write E as this, and we are always aware of when we express our stuff in physics in form of a graph as a way of having things look better in a simple way. So a graph of electric field intensity versus the radius of the Gaussian surface would look like graph of E against R, a graph of E against radius of the Gaussian surface has the form inside, on the inside, when you are still within the distribution of charge. So this is the graph of E against the radius of the Gaussian surface R. So we can draw the Gaussian surfaces from the bottom of the heart of the sphere here. We can draw a Gaussian surface here, draw a Gaussian surface there, 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 draw a Gaussian surface along the surface itself, draw a Gaussian surface on the outside, a little bit, draw a Gaussian surface far away, draw a Gaussian surface wherever. So we can draw our Gaussian surfaces outwardly going, and it is believed that once you are still within the distribution of charge, when the radius of the Gaussian surface is between here, between the 0 here to the Gaussian, to the surface of the distribution charge, it flows linearly. This is a constant. So E is proportional to R when you are within the distribution. So it will be linear until when you reach the surface, and then it becomes
becomes varying inverse square of the radiance. And then you go, and then you become asymptotic. You remember the example of the asymptote? Always dreaming about touching the axis until when you finish your school time. So E here is proportional to R, and then here you use the Twinamasiko symbol, R squared, or you can use the actual 1 over R squared, or you can say R to the minus 2. This is my symbol. Which one is what? Which one is not active?
It's accepted by you.
Hey! All of them are acceptable. I have no problem. You can put whatever, all of them are acceptable. Yeah. But if you put mine, Twinamasiko symbol, I will be very glad. They will make the same, but I will make the tick big. The tick will be bigger. If it is in the final exam, you won't see the tick, but if it is a test, you'll be able to see the tick. If you put these two other ones, I'll put the normal tick. Yes. Any questions so far? So there are a bunch of examples, there are a bunch of stuff. This book, read it from cover to. It's not red, it's black. The one is, this book was just covered. I saw an advertisement of a book binder for the Universal Library. And you are working in university. Somebody should tell your relatives who have, if you have tell them that you go there and say, I can bind books, and they come and get a job at the university. So there are a couple of numbers here. Read this and read the text. There is a lot of text that I don't have on the. I can't talk about in lectures here, but it is well explained on this. So don't rely on my notes, and then you think you'll be able to know electromagnetism. Read notes. Read this textbook. Go in the library and say, today I just want to read for fun. How many of you have ever seen somebody cramming the newspaper? Like read the newspaper, repeat. But someone will tell you the story which they read in the newspaper, but they read once. So when you go to the library, when it is not yet a test or assignment, read like you're reading a newspaper. The mind is very smart. It will keep what you have read. When you are reading it for a test, it is not news. So during my time of, even you can see, when you look at my notes on Mwere, equations are bolded, much as I use a pen. So during my time of study, if we are in a normal semester, I go to the library, I'm bolding my notes. The headings, the equations, these things that we keep putting in these rectangles, just for fun. I just leave the hall of residence, I go to the library for the whole afternoon, up to when it is supper, go eat supper, come back. Sometimes we will pick supper and keep it. These days you are lucky, there is no supper. So you don't have anything to bother you. Our time at 6, between 6 I think and 8, supper will be served. If you haven't picked, you have missed supper. So we'll dash down, you pick your supper, put it in the room. Then when you come back at 11 in the night, you warm it up. You don't have anywhere to warm it up, but you make tea. So you chew your food and pretend it is warm. Now with my age, I am not supposed to eat beyond 6 p.m. and I only eat one meal. So I eat my huge lunch and that's it. So I can eat fruits or take juice in the night. I am above 40. If I look young for you, that's your problem. I am above 40. If I left my hair for a month, you will see my bald head. But even if you look close, you see is smooth here. And if I leave these beards for a long time, you'll see some white hair coming out. But I look after myself, so I may look a bit young. So with the... Pardon? Tazamkon. Is that how they finish it? I know, you try me. Those if you don't know that I know these sayings and the Bisoko and you try. Who wants to try me? That is not there. that is your masakati. Boasting about your money. You use the ones which make sense. Someone that one is. It is there, but for you, who else wants to try to sing? Lusoga, in Lusoga, I only know one. Deep Soga. That's the only one I know that better suffer now when you are students and when you are graduated with your good class, you enjoy life. Anyone else who wants to try me in Uganda? That's not allowed. Those ones are not allowed. You see, when they were teaching me languages, they told me start with the vulgar words so that they do not make you look stupid. That's I don't want to, because it's like at least you should have said something like that. It's almost what you're asking, but it is not rated for our class environment. I don't know. I don't want to be involved in being misinterpreted. Okay. And you will understand why I don't want to answer that when you reach somewhere in front in the course. I will hear what you will say when I say a few words, my pronunciation. So next is the cylindrical simile. But I have the one which is very nice. The one who is not going to be with you on the journey will pack for you the yellow bananas. How far will you go? So when you are choosing friends, choose the right friends. That when you say, let's go to the library, they will follow you up. Not when it is club time. I had friends in the opposite room in my third year. For them, they were always clubbing. They were doing veterinary medicine. I don't know what's special about veterinary medicine. Either people do it when they don't want it, or they teach them stupid things because about animals. Because that's where guys did it. I think I had two people I knew. Up to now, one is the Mish, this MC guy. He did veterinary medicine. But he's in MC. How do you waste 5 years and you MC? Then nowadays we have a colleague here, one of your students. I'm speaking also that he may be seated out there and hear him. He's a professor in veterinary medicine, but now he's doing physics.
Professor?
Yes, full professor with over 89 publications and patents. But his love was in physics, so I refused to teach them for that. How do I teach and I'm telling people to work hard and and I am telling people asking people, who of you did the course they don't want? You remember my question when I'm trying to encourage those of BSc, that those of you who are doing BSc is the second chance, some of you, or those of you who are doing education, they gave you education when you didn't want it. I have a case. I feel bad. You may think I'm just talking about him all the time. But that's me. I want to make sure I tell my students what I want. So I said I'm not going to teach that class. If I find that I am no longer interested in electronics, I may go back so that I never teach him at all. I have a right. You cannot go to school. You cannot go to school, do bachelor's, do master's, do PhD, practice, and you can't make up your mind. No. And when I'm busy trying to write articles, doing what, you are not supporting me to become a witness. 99% of government students do the course they don't like. 99%, even those who are doing medicine, it's not that they love medicine, but they just put it. If I pass very well, I get the best course. Then they reach cadaver, when they bring a cadaver, a dead body, it is naked there. Somewhere they go and they never come back. Others see it, they are like, oh, they get traumatized. After getting traumatized, they are done. But tell me about this. A kid who grows up in this home environment, no washing plates, no washing clothes, even underwear you give to the maid. And then you are a medical doctor, this old woman from the village comes with a wound that they neglected for some time. It stings. And you are supposed to be touching this dirty old woman. Just because you are a medical doctor. Do you think this guy will do much to help this old woman? You tell a nurse, you go address that thing. And then he carries his papers, goes around with his glasses. Who knew a medical doctor could get 700K at the Center for? 700K before COVID. That was the salary for a medical doctor. Even a civil engineer gets I think 2 something. A district engineer. Those who are rich, if you have a father who is an engineer, is because they steal contract money. When there is a contract for a road, they take away some centimeters of the road, the fuel for the vehicles, like that. But their official salary is miserable. Medicine, people are fewer because of the high cut-off points to make sure they are few, so that they can tally with the dead bodies they are able to get. There is no magic in medicine, and medicine is taught for many years because they are going to be dealing with delicate human beings. There is no other magic. The same to architecture. Architecture projects are so passionate that you need to be attending to every student because a simple design problem makes people die. And then when you hear architecture points are high, people think that when you graduate you'll be earning in billions. You find parents saying, I want you to be a medical doctor. You don't even know what a medical doctor does. They bring a border guy who has been smashed. He's only left with the breathing through the nose. He can't open any other part. But you're a medical doctor who has never helped anybody. Then you look at the guy, because you don't want to work on him, I say, any people who came with him, who has he paid? As tough as that. So to make sure that I finish with whatever I brought, we now look at the cylindrical machinery. So most students, I am doing a campaign, but I have always tried to mobilize my students to help me out, but you are all fake. The students have told when I'm fighting, they just leave me alone. I want every student in 2025, 2026 to apply when they have their results, whether they are going for government or private. I am going to fight this because last week, one of my former students came to check on me. I had met him at the canteen. This time he came to my office and he showed me, he was excited to show me his marks. He's now doing electrical engineering. But he finished here the physics. I taught him electronics and instrumentation. I taught him electricity and magnetism. I hustled with him. He went out for a little time, came back for what he loves most, electrical engineering. And he has A's. Yes, he's doing his bachelor's. He just wants to be an engineer officially. He didn't even want to dodge like this, do renewable energy masters or whatever. No, he wants the stuff. The other one is almost also, I think he's done with the computer engineering. He had done education here. I supervised him on project. He didn't finish some of the courses, but when I met him this time, I said, come finish our degree. So that you have the 2 degrees. Why should we continue having students coming here and doing a course they don't love? I have a young boy I inspired to go to Muni after his teachers had put funny courses and they dropped agriculture for him because he did BCM, and it made him end up now in Muni. To convince him to go to Muni and do agriculture, I had to first bring him the videos I showed you guys who came in electricity, those ones of tractors. Then I told him now, ICT, this thing has gone to ICT, it is not the agriculture in the village. Why should I suffer? Then when I'm teaching you, all of you, most of you, even just education, don't even know how it came about. So, Max should come, you fill Punjab forms, the private fill Punjab forms, then we say between 50 and 35, that's the cut-off point. 35 and maybe 25, whichever way they do it, those will be on private. These are on government. If you want to change for the course you had put first choice or whatever, then you change. I'll make sure 2025, 2026, I'll campaign that to change. If it doesn't, I'll tell the president that I'm going to campaign you. No, after this young man came to my office, the other one was as stubborn as Kasad. Sometime back there was more than Kasad, so I would be teaching for him. He asks the way he wants. When I have a moon viewing event, he comes and says, BFT, I want to take his And I was like, what's wrong with this fella? So when he finished, I called him and talked to him. And I realized that I asked him which school were you. He said, Mengo. And now how did you end up on education when you are just here, a neighbor to Makerere University? He said, teachers just put it there so that we get a government place. So that's what happens. Teachers feel for students just because they want to come to government. You can't waste 3 years here just because it's government. It's a lot of time. Avanobi, who did the economics geography, is the spokesperson of Airtel. He always wanted to be in the whole thing, journalism stuff. He writes articles, he's passionate. The other time he was a spokesperson of Women. We did school practice together. We finished together. He's now a spokesperson of Airtel, and we taught him how to be a teacher. When I tried to talk to him, he said, you know, that was to give me a background, now I'm doing what I want. That's wastage of money. There is no wasting of money in 2025, 2026. This is my tax. If he doesn't do it, I'll be campaigning him. I'll resign here and just do one thing, be campaigning him across the country. Lose all my savings. So, no, I've changed stuff. No. I have done more stuff in my own capacity. This one I'll do. So but are you going to support me or not? You are behind me. Yes, Madam President. Is it now okay? Okay, so we we are going to first understand the coordinates related to the cylinder, and I got a cylinder here. So when one of my bottles got finished of water, I chose to use it. So a cylinder has also three coordinates, just like the Cartesian. I didn't do much about Cartesian because every Tom, Harry, and Dick, they know Cartesian. Cartesian is like this room here, whereby if we took this one to be Z, then this can be X, and this one here can be Y, if the top here is Z. But it is not a must that this is always Z, this is X, this is Y. Because if this is what it was previously, as Z, as X and Y, if I do it like this, the Z will change. If I do it like this, Z will still be there. If I do it like this, it will change. So, if you consider this to be a glass that can change size, starting from a small pipe glass like this, and then if you can make it bulge and go this way. So this is the bottom here, then we have the one here, being this is the X, the Y, and this is the Z. So if you are pouring juice in a glass and juice is rising, the meniscus is rising, that is the Z. This is the Z here, or maybe if I use this side which is white. As the juice is going up, Z is changing. If you were to make this container move from being a tiny little one to a big one, then this one here will be the R. And this R here sometimes is S. So the coordinates are R. Then we have the Z, which is going up. And then finally we have the angle. This plane here, if I was to use this to stir up my juice, this plane here cuts through an angle. So if I just took a slice of this bit here, if I took this part here as a plane which I'm moving now, this one here, as this plane, then I will be having this one here, this angle between this radius here, R, and this bottom here will be forming this angle here with the X, this X here. This angle here is the azimuth. So meaning that the variation now will be, you can make this cylinder bulge as big as possible. So 0, R, infinity. Then you can make this also move and you can feed it up depending on how variable and how whatever capability your capability is. This is the Z, also up to, but the angle, this angle swept through by this plane here, this angle here goes from 0 to pi. Since you are going for the other lecture, I would love to stop it here so that you are able to revise about the cylindrical, so that when we meet, we finish that. I'm being slow at the beginning so that we first make sure that we get acquainted with stuff. So after doing the cylindrical case, we shall do a small example and then start on how to bend the electric field lines and how to diverge them. Because once we are going to use them, we need to know how to concentrate them, if it is possible, and how we can make them go as far as possible. To get the Wi-Fi, you must make sure that this signal is able to be felt from far away, and that will be diverging, the divergence of E. And then, can we remove the electric field? Yes. If we curl the electric field lines, we make them disappear. So that would be the curl of the electric field immensely. Make sure you register, and I would love to see you on Monday for this. Now, for those who are going to be taking the electronics and instrumentation, we are supposed to be having a lecture tomorrow 8 to 9. But with the time, we're going to make that lecture fit in the triple, make a triple. But we can't do it now because you are still surviving. Some lecturer may decide to take the other hour when we have transferred. I don't want to fight with anybody. So we're going to keep tomorrow at 8 for the meantime until when we are sure that we can actually use the triple and we are good with that. And so I see you tomorrow, those who are interested in electronics and instrumentation, here at 8 a.m. Good night.